Good morning and welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy Show. I am Barnzy, and as usual, joined by internet personality and burgeoning swimsuit model, you Stu.
Hello, Christopher.
How are you?
Not doing too bad. I'm nursing my war wound from the weekend. I've got a nice little axe wound in my finger. It's what happens when we play 20 games on a weekend.
Oof.
So yeah, we had a long drive to Odessa. I guess any profit's a good profit, so it was a successful weekend to that extent. I don't think either me or you were thrilled by the outcome, but mine was a little more inevitable than yours. I think the Lavery's finished 1-2 because that seems to be what happens there.
Anthony winning for the 5th time in a row there. That's no small feat.
I think he's had one off. I think he missed. I think he missed the last one, from what they were saying. But yeah, still 5 victories in the same place is crazy, especially when he has 8 regional titles and 5 of them are in one bowling center. That's pretty good going.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, wish I had that place. I don't know what that place would be for me though. Outside of his bowling in Paphos in Cyprus, I'm not sure where I would have that reaction. Speaking of guys who like a bowling center, our next guest, well, it was like we had the World Series in Odessa for Anthony.
Yeah, we have a good one today. Always a friend of the show. He now has 4 titles. He is a major title holder, and he's owner of Hall of Fame Pro Shop in Tampa, and evidently now co-owner of University Lanes, also in Tampa. The one and the only rebel, Daugherty.
What's up, fellas? What's up?
Well, nothing's up with you.
No,
not a thing in the world.
Just chilling.
We're gonna go solo on you just so we can see your. We got your check in the background, and then we've got like a little board that you've brought to the show. So there's his $100,000 check. You even had the convenience of not having to look like an asshole carrying that on a plane.
No, that was. Yeah, I don't know if I would have done
that. So that's nice. And then you've got your to-do list. It says you've ticked off Weber, you've ticked off Walter Ray. Duke's there, and then Barnes is next, and the Legend Slayer. So, I mean, do you want to change that from Barnes to Jones? I mean, because the rest of them have 20 titles.
I think Barnes is like the other two. He's probably going to stick around a little longer than he should. I think Tommy's going to duck out when he feels it.
Yeah, to go to this job he's going to have waiting for him?
Yeah, he'll have a job somewhere in the industry, trust me.
Yeah. Then his next job will be his first one.
I love this from Kelly. She says, have to have that soft ball speed in university. I can tell you from experience, Kelly, that wasn't the only thing you needed. Because I could definitely bring that to the table. There was a couple of other skill sets you needed.
Alex, this is funny. Tampa Bay is a real thing.
Tampa Bay is a real thing.
Tom Brady fan right there.
Oh, has Tom crashed? I think he has.
Crashed?
Nope. He's good.
Oh, well, we're off to a good start.
It's not me.
$100,000 can't afford a decent internet.
It's not me.
Or is it you?
Yeah. Tell him, Barnes. Tell him it's not me.
Not this time. Most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely Stu.
Yeah. So you had a bunch of stuff going on this week. You obviously led the World Championship. You led the doubles. You were second in Scorpion, right?
Yes.
And what'd you do in Chameleon?
No, sorry. I was second in Chameleon and I led Scorpion.
Okay, and you led Scorpion. That's an okay week.
That's an okay week. I'm a little upset that I missed Cheetah by 2 pins, but what are you going to do?
Yes, you're 18th there, whatever it was. So,
yeah.
I was pretty disappointed for you.
I'm sure you were.
Yeah. I was crying in my own beer too much to worry about that. So, well, we'll start at the bottom. The doubles. You bowl with BJ Moore. Rumor has it, when Dino was like, "Hey, if you want to," that you actually clicked over and put him on call waiting to call BJ and get that firmed up before Dino changed his mind.
Well, it was actually funny. He said it a couple years prior. He had a really, really bad event and he didn't bowl good at all. And then I bowled with him the very next year, and that's when he was going through a little injury with his shoulder and stuff. And he even said before we started, he said, regardless of how this ends, you have to find another partner. I don't know how much more I'm going to do with this. So the funny part of that story was after after a couple months after that, I started thinking about who I wanted to bowl with. And I knew that we were coming up to the summer swing, and I knew Dom and Simonson were both looking for new partners. They were both getting rid of their partners. I think Dom was getting not bowling with Oscu anymore, if that's correct. And then Simonson was not going to bowl with Connor Pickford. So I figured I would go to the first summer swing, which was in Wilmington, I think, and ask both of them if they would like to bowl. And I think I asked Simo first, and he said he already found a partner, which was Tom Barrett. And so I was like, well, the two guys I was thinking about bowling with actually hooked up with each other, and then BJ won that tournament. So he was the next person in line I asked.
Seems like it worked out okay for you.
It worked out all right.
BJ is one of those guys I watch every time I watch him bowl, and I go, how have you not won? Not once, but several times.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal talent. I mean,
he's really this generation's Robert Smith. The lines are all good. It's up and down the line, and wow.
Yeah, he's a great bowler. I'm glad he's on my team for sure.
So what happened on that show? So
I didn't bowl very good. When we were going into match play, when we talked the night before, it was pretty much because my ball read the long patterns so very well, because I had such success on all the patterns that were over 40 feet, I assumed I was going to be on the left lane and he was going to be on the short pattern, and he could just fire it to the gutter and throw it as hard as he want. And I was just going to do my little slow roll thing on the left lane. But then when we got there for practice, it was like I couldn't get my ball to the right side of the head pin. They just hooked so much on that left lane, and the left lane ended up being much, much harder than the right lane. So he stepped up and bowled all of match play there, and he bowled phenomenal. I didn't bowl good at all. And
we did the same thing. I let Tommy take the right lane. So
yeah, like I said, I would have bowled on the left lane if they were tight and what I thought they were going to be, but they weren't. They hooked a ton, and he bowled, like I said, he bowled good, and I could just stay on the right lane and fired at the gutter all day long and strike and just try to keep up with him. But so we did the same thing on the show, and he picked the left lane, and the left lane was actually harder on the TV show than it was in match play. And I think I let him down. I didn't throw the first two very well at all, and I got 9 on both of them. I think it was 10 pins. One I threw too hard, and the other one I just missed way in. And I think if I would have struck every time, which it sounds like a lot, but when you only have to strike 5 times, it's doable on an easy lane. And he threw one bad shot and split, but like I said, that lane was extremely hard. So even with that, if I strike every time, we win. So it's definitely my fault we didn't win that one.
Yeah, I find this interesting. Is it really a legend slayer, or is it the Del Ballard toe factor? Is it, are you just, is it asserting your dominance, or is it, well, if this guy can beat me, then really quick?
According to the puzzling look on Stu's face, I think that one went over everybody's head.
Yeah, I didn't get where you were going with that. But now I understand.
Yeah,
you're saying that they reached a career low point losing to Daugherty. That's why they got out of there. Yeah, yeah, okay.
I completely agree.
I always think of Dell when I think of that stuff.
I do feel like that it was a rough couple of weeks for Walter. I feel like I pushed him to the edge when he bowled. He beat you, And then he said to me, I felt like I bowled quite well in the match I bowled against him. I beat him by 140. And I think that was the time at which he was like, man, I didn't feel like I bowled that bad. He beat me by 140 and he can't make a check. It might be time. It might be my time. And then, he did say that if he made a cut, he was going to go out there. And then I think he just got to the point where he was like, no, I just don't want to go all the way to Reno to come all the way back to Florida.
Right.
I wonder though, Pete always says the funniest thing I'd ever heard, I think, about Reno. He said, man, I hate that place. I wish they'd burn it down. I've only made the show there like four or five times. And I'm like, for most people, if you'd made a show in a building 4 times, you'd like want to live there. Pete's like, this place has been open since 1994. I've only made the show here 5 times. Screw this place. I'm never coming back. I'm like, I guess it's perspectives.
I guess. He's probably made the show there 4 times.
He forgot about a few of them because, to be honest, Pete's a lot like Tommy. It's not like he makes 7 or 8 shows a year. He just wins when he got on them. So,
right.
I mean, I bet he's still pretty close to 100 shows for his career.
Well, for 40 years, I mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, Reno's been open 27 years.
Well, Walter's got like 200 shows, though. So,
yeah.
Anyway, so moving on. Yeah. Speaking of toe factor, this is how I know you're not a toe, because you were throwing a ball that no one else on your staff would throw. You dominated them with it, and they still didn't throw it. So,
well, I mean, it's discontinued. So I actually had to buy that ball on eBay. So it was a $99 investment, but I think it paid off. So
it seemed to have worked out okay for you.
But with that being said, nobody did throw that ball when it was out, which is why it got discontinued so fast.
I was about to say, I asked Dom what you were throwing, and he said an Intel pull, and I said, oh, and he goes, and if there was some out there, I wouldn't drill it.
No.
And you were running the field over with it. Yeah. That's past donk status. When usually when somebody's running them over, everybody goes and drills that ball. They're like, that's how much respect you had on your squad. Everybody's like, nah.
Now, while you were bowling the World Championship show, I was over at the center where your pro shop's at, bowling a local event, and that's what toes do. Is they both go on TV, and the toes go bowl a local thing and get beat up by the local toes. And but it was one of the coolest things in a long time, because it's been a while since I've been in a center during the show where people were invested. And basically, the whole center was 32 lanes, and the whole place had stopped to watch the 9th and 10th frame. The whole pace of bowling slowed down considerably to watch the whole match, but down at the 9th and 10th, and you bowled phenomenal. And we couldn't hear the sound, but we could watch the ball. Like, wow, there was a lot of ooh. You were making your ball look amazing. And when you threw the one in the 10th to basically make him double at that point, I mean, the place went crazy. And then you got the and the whole place went nuts. It was
Martin.
I missed fans so much, and that was basically the closest thing we've had to fans. Even though it was 25 miles away,
right.
It was so cool to watch that thing, and how much the people there were pulling for you was really awesome.
Martin Larson actually was bowling the event with you, and he had the wherewithal to actually videotape the 10th frame. And so he was kind of on the lanes in front of the pro shop, and everybody was facing the TV because the TVs are kind of behind the approaches. And he actually sent me the video of the moment when I rolled the 2-8 or whatever, and the place went crazy. There was also a city tournament going on in a 50-lane center not too far away, this Tampa City tournament. And kind of the same thing happened where all 50 lane, I don't know if it was a full house, but it was a lot of people there, but they all stopped to watch the 9th and 10th frame. And they said that, I didn't see a video, but they said people were actually running up and down the approaches, screaming and hollering when the place went crazy. So
that's cool.
Like you said, we haven't had fans in so long. So this would have been an unbelievable experience just to have fans in the bowling center, but to see that reaction from bowling centers in the area, I just thought was awesome. I wish
You
I could.
heard it here first. People do like Tom Daugherty.
I think it's just Tampa are used to winners now.
I just think they're rooting for Tampa. I don't think they, we used to hate Tom Brady too, but now that he's here, we're all Tom Brady fans. So I think if I moved away, then nobody would even watched when I was bowling here in Tampa.
You just what you're really saying is that you're the bandwagon fans.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Fine. Jump on.
It's okay.
Yeah, you're the people's champ. Everyone at Fiesta at NBF Texas also pretty much stopped and cheered for you. You and Mo did tonight, and that's a great segue into the one show that you didn't make in between there. Marshall struck out on the field ball of Game 5 to knock you out of that tournament. You were helping Maldy out with a little bit of game planning, and it worked perfectly. I mean, as described and ahead of time, and then he executed the plan pretty much as good as you can do it. I thought it was very cool listening to you pull for him, and I thought your the genuineness, for lack of a better term, came through in how much you were pulling for him.
I mean, we all remember our first title and how special it is. So, he's my roommate on tour. He was staying at the house that week, him and Dino. So just to be a part of it was, just to be there to watch it was phenomenal. And then actually be part of the telecast while he was doing it. And just to watch a kid's dream come true is a special occasion at any time. And to have one of your best friends do it, it was just, it meant a lot to me. And I genuinely meant everything I said. It was awesome. And I was super proud of him. And like I said, I know what it's like to win your first one, and especially as long as he's been on tour and as good as he is, and to be so close so many times and to have it happen, it meant the world to him, and I was just happy to be a part of it.
Fun little fact. He actually won more tournaments in Tampa that week than you did, or in the area. Because he won down in Fort Myers, then he won the regional, then he won the other thing as well. Didn't pay quite as well.
No, no, it's okay. I mean, I'll let him pick up all those small ones. I'll just wait for the big one. I just need more big tournaments in Tampa.
Yeah, well, yeah. Somebody said here, just 1 second. I got a little kick out of this one. They said, in the future, when Tom Brady throws a TD, it will now be known as he's throwing Daugherty's.
There you go.
Somebody said, how'd you go from bowling 100 to winning the world championships? That has to take a lot of mental toughness.
I mean, people make a big deal about the 100 game. And the reason why it will never happen again is because of the scenario of the whole thing. I was doomed the night before. I don't know if I've ever told this story, but the night before I was rooming with Doug Kent. And Doug Kent was gonna ball rep for me, and it was my first show ever. It was the first time I ever sponsored myself in a bowling tournament, so I knew I was getting all the money. And Doug just talked to me about it, and I said, Doug, and this is the mistake I made. I said, I don't want to think about anything. Tell me where to stand. Tell me what ball to throw, and I'm just going to try to make the best shots I can. And basically, that's what happened. We were lined up in practice at said board, looking at said mark with said ball, and that's what I did. I never moved my feet. I never changed balls. I never did anything. And if they would have had, shot tracker back then, you would be amazed on actually how good I bowled, because the ball was supposed to go high and split the 2-3 because that's where I was standing. And instead of moving left or changing balls, I just kept assuming that it was my fault that the ball was doing that. So I just tried to make better shots. And the better I threw it, the more it split the 2-3. And so, it was my fault for making that comment, because one of my strengths is figuring out, thinking, making the moves, doing the same thing I did all week to get there. But I let the nerves get the best of me and just assumed it was me throwing bad shots. So I took away from it that I actually, looking back at it after the fact, I actually bowled a phenomenal game. And it's the only way to leave that many splits is to keep hitting the same mark, throwing the 2 strikes I threw were my worst shots. and that's why they struck, because I actually missed my target. So it is what it is, and
you handled that game better than I'm going to go ahead and
I
venture.
get a lot of credit for that, but Mika deserves all the credit for that. I handled that game as good as I did because my opponent was bowling 300, 299. If my opponent was bowling 170, I wouldn't have handled it as well, I promise.
That's probably fair. That's honest.
Yeah, Mika gets a lot of credit for that. In all honesty, I would have been, because at the time, like I said, I sponsored myself and I was getting all the money, and there was a lot of money on the table there. If I would have bowled 250, I probably would have been more distraught losing that game.
That's pretty funny.
Than I would have just bowling 100. So
Kelly Green says, I thought Jaros was ball repping.
He crushed me. I remember, like, in the 8th frame or whatever, looking over at Kirk and asking him what the low score was, because I thought it was like 123 or something, and then he told me it was like 129, and I was like, oh crap, I need to double. I knew I was in trouble because I couldn't get around the count. So I was in trouble after that.
So someone said, Nomad Dagger. Yeah, if you head down to Hall of Fame Pro Shop, it's on the wall.
Yes, I've been asked by a few people that I should take it down now and replace it with something, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. We'll see.
It could go next to it.
I've challenged a few people over the years. I challenge anyone to try and bowl that game. Hit the head pin on the first ball every shot, every frame, and hit a pin on the second ball of every frame, and try and get anywhere close.
Yeah, it's
after they can't get to 100, I just challenge 120. Give it your best shot. You can't do it.
It's incredible when you consider I bowled 100 9-pin no tap.
Yeah.
Actually trying, I bowled 100 9-pin no tap. That's crazy.
If you get, it's.
I never got 9.
But this is also fair. 111 pocket 710.
Yeah. Except I would have been on the roof of the Red Rock, probably looking for the jump. So.
Another revelation during that World Championship show is you came out with some info that you shared it with me before the team thing, that you'd had a heart attack in the time off, I guess.
Yeah. Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day, so it was during the whole COVID break. We still don't know why or what caused it, but it is what it is. I didn't tell a lot of people. I didn't want to make a big deal about it. I didn't want everyone to worry about it. It was, after the fact, and maybe it was a blessing in disguise because I did no damage to my heart, which is the big thing now that I've learned a little bit about it after the episode. But I did 0 damage to my heart, and now I have a couple stents in, so I'm cleared up there. So maybe if I didn't go to the hospital, it could have been worse. I didn't go right away. It took a couple days for me to finally start feeling so bad that I had to go. And I went unrelated. What I thought was unrelated, I went because my stomach I just couldn't sleep. But it was just my body telling me, something's wrong. You need to do something about it. So, like I said, I just didn't want it to turn into a big deal. I don't know. So Belmo knew about it because Bill was one of the first people that knew about it. And so, me and Bill and Belmo were talking, and it just came out. So Belmo wanted to break the story actually at the World Championship. And I wasn't ready. I don't know why. I just didn't want anyone to know. So, we talked again about it, and I asked him not to make a big deal about it. And then, Kimberly got involved, and it just snowballed into what it was. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I think it's a great story. It's human interest, and aside from throwing strikes, people overcoming any kind of adversity, I think is, it's always a inspirational thing, and there's not enough inspiration going on at the moment. So, I
think Santiago's looking for some for some help here, though. He says, bowling 100 made you stronger mentally. I bowled 116 against the Koreans and didn't sleep for 2 weeks.
I slept well that night. I had $50,000 in the bank, and I'm sure he didn't get 50,000 for bowling 116. But
I was about to say a bronze medal doesn't pay as much.
no, like I said, Mika gets all the credit in the world because he made the experience a lot easier for me. I wish he would have bowled 300. He kind of screwed up the story, but it is what it is.
Did you happen to see Mika's comment?
100% I saw Mika's comment. I saw Barnes' comment before the show. That's why I said what I said on TV. But I saw the whole thing. I see it all. Don't think I don't see it all.
I appreciate the shout out. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
That son of a
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your decision. You're not heading out west. So what's brought that on?
Well, this is where you have to be careful, right? Because I mean, who knows? Chad might be watching.
Oh, Chad is watching. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. I am
everything.
I guess the biggest thing is we're taught at a very young age or early in our career that pre-shot routine is vital to success at this level. I mean, it's everything, especially the more pressure moments we get. It's exactly why I threw the bad shot against Jacob in the second shot in the 10th. I took a re-rack just to slow myself down, and it was actually I'm not saying taking the re-rack was a bad thing, but because I took the re-rack, I gave myself more time to think about what's going to happen if I strike. And that was the cardinal sin. You know, I knew I was going to be world champion. I knew I was going to win $100,000. I was going to be a major title holder and all that. I thought about all that while I was taking the re-rack. I think if I'd have just stepped up, did my pre-shot routine and went through my shot, I would have thrown it just like the previous 8. But, you know, it's in the past. That's what happened. But I have a pre-shot routine that has a lot to do with, especially with throwing urethane, where I lick my hand, wipe it on my leg, and then I try to get the oil off the ball because I have to have a pretty good tacky feeling there. And with the face mask rule in the bowling, I just think that it's going to affect my pre-shot routine to the point where I don't feel like I can bowl to the best of my potential with a face mask on. And that's the main reason why I'm not bowling. If it wasn't for the face mask rule, if we could get on the approach and remove it, I think that I could go through my pre-shot routine and not have to think about it. But with the 3 strikes you're out, I think it's too much to think about out of the norm to compete at that level. And I made that decision weeks ago that I wasn't going to go for that reason. And I mean, that's the main reason. I mean, and let's face it. I have $100,000 tournament the week after the U.S. Open, and I would hate to go out to Reno and actually get the virus and not be able to compete in that tournament while I'm bowling for that prize fund out there.
Okay, so there you go.
And that's a personal thing. I'm sure other guys can bowl with a face mask on and it doesn't affect them, but I just my pre-shot routine has me licking my hand a lot, especially with urethane because they get slimy. And I would hate to be on the approach and put my mask down, lick my hand, and throw a shot, and someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, that's the 3rd time you've done that. You owe us $500 and you're disqualified."
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to get to about that. So I don't really have too much of a problem with them doing the warning, you're disqualified, whatever it is. I have a very big problem with it being a fine. Because I don't feel like it's so, like I'm fine with fines in general for things where you clearly do, like the mobile phone thing, the cell phone. They say in the US Open, you can't have your cell phone. Well, that's a very easy thing to not do. Like you switch your cell phone off, you put it in your bag, and that's that. This feels like most of the people who do something wrong, it's going to be a subconscious thing. It's not really going to be they actually did, like, they're not going to just be like pulling their mask down because you're just clearly not going to get away with that. So I don't really understand why it's a fine. I feel like it should just be a warning, and then you're disqualified. I don't really see how a fine, like, if I pull my mask down and they catch me, it's going to be like, oh shit, did I?
Right.
Like, it's not going to be something where I'm trying to gain an advantage. it's going to be like I did something stupid.
Right.
Like, and I didn't, that was my only issue with, I don't have any issue whatsoever with them saying, because there has to be consequences to doing it. Otherwise, nobody would leave their mask on.
Right.
I just don't really see that fines is the, like, that isn't the thing that's going to stop me from
I just want to
making a mistake.
The only reason why I considered bowling is to be there to watch this unfold, because I would love to be there when Rob Gotcho goes up to Barnes and say, "Hey, Barnes, you stone 8 to screw up this game there in the 10th, and you ripped your mask off. So here's your $250 fine, and by the way, that's your second warning." I would just love to be there for that, because I don't know how that's going to go down, because I have seen him do that. Hey, it's his mask; he can rip it off if he wants. I've seen him destroy a lot of other things, so ripping the mask is nothing. But in this situation, if he rips his mask off, there's one strike.
Yeah, but you can do it once.
I mean, how
you do it once without a fine?
Enforce the rules.
Yeah, the first one's free.
Right, the first one's free, but
yeah, Chris likes money way too much. Once. He's got enough control.
We'll see. Those glasses were expensive.
New Leaf.
Yeah.
New Leaf. Okay.
I've had these for over a year now. They've been on my face the entire time.
That's because you've had the face mask in place to rip it off.
The top of the face
mask has saved you the glasses.
Tom, I've already got the scenario for him. It's fine. He just doesn't know it yet, but I already have the scenario for him.
Okay.
Double mask.
There you go.
Put the blue one underneath, white one on top. Get pissed off, rip that white one off. Blue one stays. You're all good.
I just wanted to get that face mask that's been going around with that actually looks like your face and has the mask on your chin, just so they keep coming up to you. I thought that would be great to bowl the U.S. Open in that.
Go ahead, Chris.
They made an adjustment so that if you do, like, lick your hand or whatever, or blow in your thumb hole, that they'll allow you to do that. But it is.
But you have to put the mask back up.
Right. Yeah. Put it back up.
and that's the part. And that's the part. You know, I waited till the last minute to withdraw from the tournaments, only because I was hoping, as the rules in this country get relaxed a little bit, I was hoping that they might maybe relax that. You know, they had a big issue with the PBA bowlers bowling on tour, and at the scorer unit, when it's their turn, you could see us with our mask down talking to each other. And my argument was, well, the PBA rule is if you're on the approach or at the approach, you don't have to have your mask on. So if it's your turn to bowl and I'm standing at the approach, I can have my mask off at that point. And I just thought USBC could have done a better job and said, listen, if you're on the approach, you don't need your mask on. That way it limits us from standing at the approach, talking to each other without our mask. So they didn't go for that. And it's their boat. If I don't want to ride it, then I stay on shore. And that's what I did.
How much credit do you give Dave Ryan for your week in Tampa?
Hey, Rob Stone wasn't there, so I'm not, until I win with Rob Stone being there, I gotta say there's something to it. I don't know. I wish I could play you the voicemail from Rob Stone that I got after I won. That was pretty funny.
But he did go on Twitter and made a video.
Yeah, he did. That was cool.
It was as if he was
that was pretty
funny. So that's a real thing.
Yeah, I was about to say though, one thing though, did the Player of the Year thing factor a little bit more into your thinking after the fact? Because obviously, I mean, you've more than most people, you've done your time on tour and you've been at both sides of it. So how much did that play a fact in, regretting pulling out?
It like I said, my mind was made up before the World Series of Bowling. The only way I would have bowled is the other end of the spectrum. If I was in Maldonado's situation or Belmo's situation where I was trying to get into the playoffs, then maybe I would have bowled. But I was convinced, and I had my mind made up that, going back to the pre-shot routine, I just don't think I don't think I would bowl good in that situation. I think I'm so worried about it that I'm not going to bowl good. And I may be wrong. I might go out there and bowl good, but I had my mind made up. So once I bowled as good as I did and made the points, pretty much locked up the playoffs, which was key in the World Series. That eliminated that. Then I went ahead and won 2 tournaments, and then people started talking about Player of the Year. Again, I don't think me going out there and finishing 20th in both events is going to make or break me for Player of the Year. If I was to go out there and win one, then yeah, it's a hands down Player of the Year. But I don't think I can do that with the rules in place. I honestly don't think I can do that. And so yes, maybe it cost me Player of the Year, but listen, Player of the Year is a player vote. P. Weber never won Player of the Year. So if I wasn't hands down Player of the Year, I'm not going to get the votes anyway. People don't like me.
You say that, but there's a large swath of people who don't like two-handers, Tom.
I understand, and I get that, but I don't use my thumb either. So, if Frankie goes out there and wins the U.S. Open again, he's got my vote. So if Kyle goes out there and wins the Masters, he's got my vote. There's so much to do. There's so much bowling left that even if I'm the front runner, that could change whether I'm there or not. And I still got the Summer Slam or Super Slam, whatever they're calling it. And Kyle's in that show too. If it's me and Kyle, I don't know the format of that yet. But if it's me and Kyle again, heads up, just like it was at the Scorpion, and I beat him again, we'll see what happens.
Well, we have an interesting scenario coming up here. Joining us. We have a special guest. He is the host on PBA Fox for basically everything sports, including college basketball, football, soccer, and he's the play-by-play man for the PBA, the 24/7 champ, the Hambone.
Listen, I did not sign up for this. I had no idea that this was happening, and I'm not okay with this at all.
If there's
Can we redo the opening where I said I was a friend of the show?
If there's one guy who can ruin your Player of the Year dreams, it's this guy.
Oh my goodness. Sir, what's up, buddy?
How you doing, TD? What's shaking? How convenient I wasn't around.
Yes, I'm very grateful that check right there doesn't have your name on it, apparently.
I appreciate you canceling my flight out there so I couldn't destroy another day for you in bowling history.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
I mean, the last time you were on TV, I bowled 260 and it still wasn't enough.
Right. And you were chasing 300 for 7 or 8 frames, I think, too.
Yeah.
Crazy. But it was my fault. It's my fault. I know. I love that the bowling world likes to blame me for it now. So I'm going full heel on you, Tom Daugherty.
Next time we're together, remind me to show you the text message I got from my 10-year-old daughter. By the way, she's not a fan.
I'm gonna guess it's not warm and fuzzy to Mr. Stone.
No, it's not. She doesn't get the sarcasm apparently. So
well, she's not alone apparently. Also,
no, not according to the PBA social media pages. No,
I don't spend much time with that stuff, but it does crack me up when I stumble on it once in a while, and I'm like, all right, just for giggles, like let me just scroll through here, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. No, I didn't see that one. All right, that's how you view it. Carry on, no problem.
Nothing we can do about it.
0-0. How fun was it though, boys, to see TD do it the way he did it? And I love the fact that when you and I were talking in Jupiter weeks ago, that you said, "Watch out for Tampa, man. This is my place," and it's going to happen. And man, it played out that way.
Yeah, like I said, I knew. I asked you if you were going to do the shows, and you said it was still up in the air. You wanted to, but it didn't look like you were gonna get to, because I knew that was a chance to break this curse if you were there. But yeah. I like that place, so I was looking forward to it when they announced it. I was looking forward to it, and I kind of told you the same thing.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen when that curse is broken. By the way, it intrigues me. It intrigues me. It'll be a big smile and a laugh. I know that for sure.
You guys might hug it out on the lanes or something, or just go ahead.
Yeah, I already told Kimberly that. I told Kimberly that she's not going to be able to do the post-match interview. That's going to be That's going to be an exclusive one-on-one with me and the handgun for sure.
That's a pretty good idea. Well, it was so trippy, guys, because I was working basketball, the Big East championship game that day, and I literally rolled into work, and I was in my room changing, and they just redid the rooms, and there's a big TV up there, and I'm flicking like I'm in a panic, trying to find I'm in Fox, and I can't find Fox on the TV. It's every other goddamn station that's out there in this universe, and I finally find it, and I'm like, oh, like he's gonna do this, and I'm like, and I just hit record, and I was like, all right, I'm calling this for Tom, and it happened. You yelled at me, you barked at me, I giggled, I laughed, I was so delighted, and I go upstairs, and like numerous bosses had texted me or were there saying, oh my God, did you hear what he said? Like he completely went after you and called you out. I'm stunned. That was amazing. It's amazing he went after you. And I was like, nobody understands what's happening here? Okay. That's just fine then. Let's keep going. And that's why like I kind of want to keep it going, because Tom, as you and I, like there's nothing behind this at all. It's just kind of evolved into this bizarro conversation that puts a lot of smiles on certain people's faces, and those people I really like. So I just want to I enjoy continuing it, I guess.
Well, I enjoy continuing it, except the fact that I have to keep losing for it to happen. So that's the part of it.
Hey, I don't enjoy that any more than you do, my friend.
So did you look at Rob's schedule and realize he was going to come out to the Masters and the US Open, and that's the real reason you're not going?
No, trust me. If I knew he was going to be there, I might have reconsidered.
Only US
I can probably
Open.
add him to that list over there. Put him on that board, so hopefully he can retire soon too.
He's become bigger than all of us now. He's big time.
I understand. I can't believe you guys got him on. That's big for your show. I mean, the ratings are going through the roof right now.
We had to dig deep. Yeah.
It was a very pleasant text from Barney last night driving home from work. I looked down at my phone. I was like, oh, this has got butt dial written all over it. And I was like, oh, that's from Chris Barnes. I was like, maybe there's some legitimacy to this. And I was like, yep. Let me adjust some things for the morning schedule out here.
Yeah, I didn't honestly, I didn't know about her. I turned down a golf game this morning, so I definitely would have been on the golf.
Bad decision, man.
Yes.
Big book of bad decisions, TD.
About the only one he's made in the last month.
Yeah. This is unbelievable.
We're gonna is Randy joining us next too while we're at it? We'll get him.
No.
Randy's mad at me because when I was guest commentator on the show on Tuesday, I actually was better than him. So he's kind of mad at me. He's a little worried about his job. I'm only going by what Coley said, so I don't know.
Nice. Oh, well, you
could be me. It could be me and you in the booth one day, buddy.
That would be a trip. That would be a trip. It would also give Randy. It would give him some issues.
Yes.
Randy's trying to figure out how he can get Dave Ryan further up the food chain with the bosses.
Right. Everything's going fine with Rhino and without Stone. Keep that train going. I get it. When you're hot, man.
He's obviously going to read the book, 60 Feet to Success.
Who's at your door, Rob?
That's my door.
Oh, that's your door. Okay.
Oh. He's going to go answer it, apparently.
Oh, all right. What do you got next, Rob? What are you calling today?
Today's an off day. We've got Olympic soccer qualifying. So USA, Mexico tomorrow, and then semifinals on Sunday, and then I think off to Reno, only doing US Open. But I'm like, Reno is a place I never thought I would be in my life. Like, I didn't know anything about it, and now I love the fact that bowling takes me there, and I actually get kind of excited to go to Reno. Granted, I don't have to be there as long as you guys do typically, but going into the stadium is cool, man. It's really unique and different, and I'm actually trying. I don't know what the seating regulations are, but I'm trying to bring some of my local peeps out to go watch live bowling, which I like to do every year to try and make new fans. And there is something about live bowling. They love it. It's a trip, man. It's so different.
To reiterate how long this guy's been showing me up. I don't even remember how many years ago. It was one of his first couple years on tour doing PBA. We were bowling a pro-am in Reno, and I was right by the walkway. He actually walked out from the back up to the front, and I figured, oh, this is my chance to show him up. So I, stopped the whole pro-am, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Stone is going to throw this shot right here so we can all make fun of him, blah, blah, blah. That's what I'm thinking. And he goes up there, straight down the middle, 9 count.
Yep.
Peace symbol, walked out. That was it. He just left the building. I'm like, this guy shows me up no matter what I do.
Now, I mean, everybody thinks that Rob's actually, okay, he's a commentator. They don't know that he's also in the Connecticut Soccer Hall of Fame. So
a lot of people don't know that.
A lot of
people. Remind people of my family. Yeah, this happened. Yeah,
we dig deep for research here on Beef and Barnzy. So
that's right. I like it. So you're knee deep in my Wikipedia page. My
parents I didn't make it to Wikipedia. Yeah, it's true. Yes.
For some reason, my parents. I was having a conversation with them a couple weeks ago, and I don't know. I was doing something, and somebody referenced something. And they're like, "Oh, we should go look into that," and da da da. And they're like, "Oh, let's go Google our son's name." And I was like, "No!" "No, don't go there. That's a horrible idea. It's a bad place, Mom and Dad. You don't know what's lurking out there. Just let it be." But yeah, Wikipedia, and that's what they said. They're like, "Did you know on Wikipedia that you did this and this?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't do that." So let's move on.
Somebody just said, so the PBA has spectators, but no, the PBA hasn't had spectators.
No.
So
in Reno, no spectators?
We've had no spectators anywhere.
Oh, so. Anywhere. See,
yeah, you're gonna have to give your folks media credentials,
right,
for them to probably get in. So,
in all honesty, can I ask? I'm going to ask a question to the three of you guys, even though it's your whatever this is StreamYard thing. Would you guys prefer the way the audio and crowd interaction is now, or would you guys want to see some alterations to the way that you guys perform with all the background noise?
I think the atmosphere is big. I would rather just have fans. I think there's a completely different intensity to the whole thing, and I think that's across the board at all sports.
I meant more as like getting away from kind of that quote unquote stereotypical golf sound and the golf claps.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
I like and enthusiasm.
I like it louder.
Yeah.
Like the ones, obviously, I was on this last set, so I don't know what the in-house sound was, but for the league and those kind of things, I thought it could have been a lot louder than it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not you guys. I'm not a professional athlete, but I know when I first got into it, it was that everything's quiet and then clap and then stop. Like you were instructed how to be a bowling fan, and I understood it, but that wasn't the way I operate, and that's not the way sports operate. And I didn't think that was the way you guys would want to operate. I understand having a level of decorum and silence for certain shots, but I think also if that noise is constantly going, and maybe you almost do like a quarterback, right, where you're Omaha, you're settling everybody down and you step up and go, like then all right, let's go. But otherwise, I want people bonkers. I want people into this. You guys are so accessible and such great humans that I don't think people ever really fully realize that. And I would love to see bowling be able to take that jump. And that's why I love a place like the stadium, because you can get more people in there, and it can create a different type of environment that I would think you guys would thrive with.
Yeah, I think Bayside is the perfect example of that. I mean, they never shut up, and it's just that. But then when it came down to maybe needing a strike in the 10th, then you got the quiet. But then that just built the dramatic of the whole event, because now everyone knows, holy hell, this is a big shot. But they yelled and chanted the whole time, and it's way more exciting for us as bowlers to do that.
Yeah, my first time was in arena, 3,500 people in Erie, and they cheered the whole time. And it was like my second show, and Schroeder's over there yelling at me that it's commercial break, and I'm getting ready to bowl, and I can't hear him because he's 8 feet away, and I can't hear him.
What arena was it? I remember there was a random like South Carolina arena that I did a show in early years of my tenure, and I thought that was really cool, really unique, because just the restrictions of doing it in a bowling center, you're limited to what you can enter, and how you as a fan can perform, and how you as a bowler can interact. So I loved the whole kind of stadium concept for television, again, because that's all I care about is that television window, not so much what you guys have to endure through the whole week and what the proprietors have to deal with as well.
Yeah.
So we've got Pete Weber's #1 fan here, and he's been asking this question over and over again. So,
wait, am I Pete Weber's #1 fan?
Not even close.
You were referring that to me. All right.
No.
Tom Daugherty, why did you beat Pete Weber in the Scorpion? It could have been Walter Ray versus Pete Weber. Now, Kenny.
Actually, it's funny because right after, I guess during the 10th frame, it was all the bowlers came down to watch Pete finish his match or whatever, and the first person that came up to me was Belmo, and he said, "You selfish son of a bitch! You do realize you just destroyed possibly the greatest farewell match in the history of the PBA. You could have had Pete bowling Walter for the show, but I messed that up too, I guess."
Like my mother-in-law says all the time, Tom. Oh well.
Oh well, yeah.
We do have
Belmo proceeded to get swept by Prather, so served him right.
You beat Pete for his last PBA match, and I beat Dick Weber in his last PBA match. Dick had been off tour for about 25 years by the time I bowled him, so it probably wasn't exactly a fair fight. But I was taking that moment. It's about me.
You're next. You're on the list. Don't worry about it.
I'm on your list now. That's right. You're not.
Hold on.
You're not that much younger than me.
There you go.
What's the list, Tom?
Talking through the list.
So that's my Legend Slayer list, to-do list. So I got Weber checked off and Walter. Next is Duke, and then Mr. Barnes.
Legend killer, baby. Legend killer.
I got a voicemail from Mr. Rob Stone after that.
Yes, you did.
Bad-mouthing me the whole time
Sure
about how I just beat up on these old guys.
Did you let your daughter listen to that one? That's probably why she hates me.
So she's hated you for a while. Don't worry about it.
Not an isolated window.
Every time she asked for something, I'm like, I can't afford it. Rob Stone was doing the show, so you're in trouble.
That's good. That's good.
It sounds like a bribe will sort it out, Rob.
Right?
Just turn up with a gift. Everything's fine. Gifts always work.
We'll figure it out. But honestly, that moment in Vegas, Tom, was just it was so bonkers. Like I don't even think to this day it gets enough attention. And again, I was kind of new to it, and I
think it gets plenty of attention.
Dude, well, the fact that these two insane storylines are going on at the same time, I thought was just incredible, and I loved how, and I'm really being sincere here. I loved how this narrative went from, oh my God, what is happening to this gentleman on this stage, to sorrow, to disappointment, to wait a second, he's now the one we're rooting for. And that whole facility was completely invested in you hitting triple digits and finding 100. And that celebration that
I'm not so sure about that.
Really?
There was quite a few people who were very invested in him hitting double digits.
It was awesome. I mean, I'm legit serious here. Like, that was one of the coolest pops I think I had heard in my broadcasting career for something that you never thought you would be cheering for. Like, you wouldn't even, the script writers in the back weren't saying, hey, how about real struggles? And one guy's going for 300, but the real story is some guy trying to get 100. And your reaction, Tom, too, was just so perfect, because I think a lot of people out there would have just been, shirking away from the situation and hand in head and just throwing the ball and getting out of here. But you embraced it. Your reaction, your enthusiasm for it helped kind of elevate it to a higher level. And I love it. It's one of my favorite memories. And I know it's not one of your favorite memories, but just everything that was going on in that one game to me was just so cool and so pure and so original.
TD versus Stone at WrestleMania.
So
It's not
TD,
quite a headliner. But
more nervous.
Already, you're going to come out as the legend killer, Tom Daugherty.
That's it.
Chuck Gardner's got a really good idea here. He said, we need the chasing TD deal every time someone's struggling on TV.
Yeah, I told Tom Clark that in the last match when Prather was struggling or whatever, he had like 54 in the fifth, and I said that instead of having the chasing 300 and these sirens and Rob calling in all these things, I said someone has 50 in the fifth. I think we need a chasing TD graphic in there and see what we can do.
I like it.
Kelly Green says, all the 100 did was make the house guys think that they should be pros.
Right.
When she said the house guys, I immediately thought that she was talking about the house, Brad and Kyle. I honestly, when I read that the first time, that's what I thought she meant.
TD, were you more nervous shooting at the count that you needed to shoot to get 100, or the second one on the 10th to win the world championship?
I was more nervous shooting the 610 because I did not want to chop it, and I knew that was a possibility. So chopping it there for 99 would have just been an unforgivable sin. I couldn't live with myself if I shot 99.
It would have been a perfect culmination of the rest of that game.
Yes.
Everything that went wrong pretty much did.
Hey, Tom, how many times have you watched that strike back that gave you the major?
It's funny because Flow Bowling did a slow motion thing on it, and I've only watched it maybe once or twice, but there was a split second in my mind where I said, man, I hope when they show this replay, they don't see anything funny, because the head mechanics before the match came up to me, and now they work for the bowling center. They don't work for the PBA. The mechanics there was one sitting on each machine. They said, man, do this for us. We really want you to win. Bring it home from Tampa. And I'm like, if I see a hand come out and slap this pin, or if I see the little magic, I said, it's going to make me look so bad. I was honestly, it went through my head for a split second that maybe somebody did something. And then when Flow Bowling showed that pin, it was awesome. But there was a split second of, oh my God, what just happened? And I had some bad thoughts in my head, but everything.
You know what that reaction was? Because you didn't go.
Yeah, that was the reaction. I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? Because I didn't see it. It just looked like the 8-pin fell out of nowhere. So it looked completely shady when it fell.
Yeah, we were bowling, and I said, if we were in different parts of the world and they will remain nameless, we would have been running around the back to see if the guy was out there with the air gun.
Exactly. It didn't look normal, that's for sure.
Well, guys, it's been great. Rob, I appreciate you taking time out and charging us a little less than your usual fee to be here today. Good luck with what's next. I love hearing your calls on the myriad of sports that you cover now. And of course, you do a masterful job of hosting the studio shows for 3 different sports now, right? Or more?
3
he does it all.
Right. 3 sounds right.
Soccer. He was doing basketball. He does football, bowling.
Yep. The 4 handball, baby. On 4.
Handball in the sports.
That's right. Just get them all. Pickle the whole deal. It's great. Thanks, World Champ, for joining us. And I'm going to do my best to make it take a while to get your bucket list checked off there.
Sooner than you think, buddy.
I'm not on that list, right? I just want to make sure I'm not on that list. I don't qualify as a legend, so just I was getting close. Like, is it Stone in there? Like, keep me out of this, man.
Not yet.
All right. You'll come for me later.
Yep.
All right.
Go ahead, Stu.
Yeah, I was gonna thank Rob for coming on, and thank Tom for being as entertaining as normal. We appreciate your certain sense of humor and personality that you bring to it. I'm I'm sad you're not coming out to the Masters because that's one of the few cuts that Barnes is going to make. So you had your chance to beat him in that match.
Man,
I've already beat him at the Masters once, so and he didn't retire. Yeah, in Carolier.
Oh, is that when I busted up my Achilles like 2 days before?
Sure. It's your story.
Like LeBron.
It's your story. It's your show. You can tell it how you want.
It was one of our Super Bowls. I don't know. I'll let you decide which one.
Yeah.
There you go. Rob's not going, though.
No Masters for me. No Masters for me. I'll see the U.S. Open. We're the big one. The big one. I love the U.S. Open.
I have good luck when Stone's around, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, relatively speaking, I don't have good luck when anybody's around on TV, but at least when Stone's on there, I don't have to listen to Dave Ryan.
Good luck, right? It was an early dark cloud that lingered over Mr. Daugherty, but after that, I'm nothing but rays of sunshine.
That's right. Oops. Sorry.
Charles wrote, Stone is on TD's daughter's list, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know that. That's fine.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I can't wait for you to meet my daughter, Cameron. She's gonna have some words for you, buddy.
Excellent. Looking forward to it.
Nothing better than a 10-year-old.
Stand in line.
Yeah.
All right, Rob. After Gonzaga, who's winning the basketball?
Florida State is kind of a little sleeper. My bracket is train wrecked. I have Gonzaga getting to the final, but I think I still have Florida State alive, but like Illinois was my team to win. So I was shocked by that and blown away by some of these upsets. So it's been bizarro world, man. So that's good. I like sports when they're bizarro, right? It keeps you hooked, keeps you entertained, keeps you around. That's why that's why I think we love the 100 game, because it's so bizarro. It's so random. And that's why you watch, man, because you never know when some type of history is going to happen in sports. Houston. And I just wanted to get another 100 jab in, too, just while I was on my way.
Houston at 100? When was it? Oh.
Get them while you can, buddy.
That's right.
I think Houston is not really a sleeper because they're a 2 seed, but they meet all the metrics. Great play.
Yeah, sleeper because nobody really knows them and nobody talks about them, and they're not a kind of a blue blood.
Yeah,
but they had their lifeline the other night.
No kidding, right?
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
And I think in any of those big tournaments, you have to escape one. It seems like nobody gets to have a steamroll.
Yeah, and, there's always one hiccup along the way, and you just got to fight through those.
Yeah. So yeah, but the one great thing, everybody thinks those upsets are great. Great TV, and what it made was a lot of really terrible basketball games last night. So, including one that shouldn't have been. As a Jayhawks fan, that was painful to watch how poorly they played last night.
Yeah, that got out of hand. That got out of hand quickly. It was like that Anchorman fight scene. You threw a trident at somebody. You should lay low, Kansas. You should lay low for a little while. Find a safe place.
That was
all right. Let's close this up, Chris.
All right. Hey, thanks for you guys coming on, and once again, support those small businesses out there in their tough time. Help those bowling centers make it through. And when you get a chance, support the sponsors that support us, and Storm, Rotogrip, 900 Global, Vice Turbo, Cool Whip, 3G Shoes, Master Bowlers Mart, and Mark Baker Bowling. By far the most esteemed panel that we've had on our show in quite some time, and I mean exclusively you, Rob. Thanks for coming on today. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.
See you guys.
See ya.